I know. This is supposed to be a horror channel. But one, WandaVision is the closest thing to horror Marvel has come to so far. Two, I've been reading comics for close to 40 years and still do, so I'm invested in the MCU. And three, I've been looking for something new to stream and review, and this one just started on Disney Plus. So allow me to indulge in YouTube's million and one review of WandaVision episodes 1 and 2. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights, a part of the Kings of Horror Network. I'm ML Miller. While you might be watching this video on the Kings of Horror Network, I urge you to click over to my ML Miller Frights YouTube page and give it a like. Please share with all of your buddies. Click subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. WandaVision, the first 2 episodes, are streaming now on Disney+. These first 2 episodes were directed by Matt Shakman and written by series creator Jack Schaefer and Gretchen Enders. WandaVision uses characters created by Stan Lee and Roy Thomas and stars Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, and Kathryn Hahn. Last time we saw Wanda Maximoff, played by Elizabeth Olsen, she was grieving alongside the rest of the surviving Avengers at Stark's funeral after defeating the forces of Thanos in Avengers Endgame. She had lost the love of her life, the synthezoid known as Vision, played by Paul Bettany, one movie earlier and disappeared when Thanos snapped his fingers in the Infinity War. Now it seems Wanda is living a dream life in a black and white sitcom-style setting, laugh track and all, with her hubby Vision alive and well. Everything feels like an old episode of Ozzie and Harriet or Bewitched, with Vision leaving for some kind of vague work every day while Wanda stays home and does things around the house. But something strange is boiling just underneath the surface. It causes one to ask the question, what happened? Well, episode 1 and 2 are light on answers as to how and why Wanda and Vision are in this odd sitcom world. Episode 1 plays like a not-so-typical episode of Bewitched, with Wanda getting in and out of trouble by using her powers to whip up a meal for Vision's boss who drops in for dinner. The hokey wholesomeness of Wanda and Vision is infectious, and Olsen and Bettany really do show that they have a lot of chemistry together, even if they're acting like Ozzie and Harriet the whole time. Still, despite the 50s sitcom script, I laughed quite a few times at the one-liners, mostly delivered by Olsen, who has some great comedic timing here. Bettany plays the straight man to Wanda's free-spirited side, but both work amazingly off of one another. This episode also introduces Vision's boss, Mr. Hart, played by character actor Fred Malamed, and his wife, Mrs. Hart, played by that 70s show's Deborah Jo Rupp. We also meet Agnes, played by stepbrothers Kathryn Hahn, as Wanda's sassy neighbor. She's the Trixie to Wanda's Alice, if you're talking in honeymooners terms here. Some sideways glances suggest Agnes might know more than what she's letting on, but Hahn provides some very funny moments as well. I was surprised at how much I laughed at these 2 episodes. Sure, the humor is funny, but most of the time the laughs carry a multitude of facets, and are deeper than what they first seem to be. While there are a few moments of oddity in the first episode, the creepiness really sets in with episode 2 as Wanda and Vision prepare for a magic show, acting as illusion and glamour, which, by the way, is a nod to 2 low-level villains who battled and then befriended the duo in the comic books. Of course, some hilarity ensues, making the show less than what Wanda and Vision planned, but for me, the episode is what sent my horror sense a-tingling. Episode 2 has a very rich Stepford Wives vibe. The way the population of the town strained their smiles and chanted lines together was extremely eerie. Fans of the surreal tones that permeated films like The Truman Show and Pleasantville, where one questions the validity of the reality they're in, are going to get the same kind of chills in this episode. There's a disconcerting sense of paranoia that feels ever present in these 2 episodes. There's even a reference to communism, harkening back to the Red Scare, that gave this story some unexpected depth in one scene. To see 2 beloved characters put into this kind of situation is a new sensation for an MCU property. Usually the threat is not some unknown force, but a big bad bent on world or universal domination. But I love these feelings of unease that I had with these two episodes. And I feel that given the right tone and direction, this could be a very twisted and chilling show if they really wanted to go that way. Add in some suspicious moments where Wanda uses her powers to reshape the situation she's in, suggesting that she is much more powerful than the parlor trick spells she happily uses during her day-to-day antics, and you've got yourself a show that is going to make you question everything. Okay, the rest of this review is going to be filled with hypotheticals. It's about to get all comic booky, nerdy, and maybe spoilery now. I don't know, I'm just guessing here, but the rest of the review is going to go into details I know about the comics, not the WandaVision show. So the following is just speculation, but it could be seen as spoilers if I'm right. So you can sign off if you don't want to hear possible spoilers I've gleaned from the comics and the episodes I've seen thus far. So what's really going on in these episodes? One can only venture a guess referencing my own knowledge of the Marvel Universe and comic books. Let's start with the easy part. If you're a comic book reader, I'm sure you put together the similarity between the beekeeper's outfit of the man who emerged from the manhole and the evil scientists that make up the organization known as AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics. The goofy villains seem to be involved in this mess somehow, as even the hexagon-shaped logo ending of each episode matches the one on the AIM outfits. The mid-episode break with sponsors like a Stark toaster oven and a watch made by Strucker are nice nods to the movies. Who knows? They might factor in as to who's behind this predicament Wanda and Vision find themselves in. Or maybe they're just Easter eggs for shrewd viewers to enjoy. Some trickier clues can be found in the foreign credits for the second episode. There's a David Lengel in the cast credited as Phil Jones. He's the deadpan guy with the thick mustachio. He's married to Dottie Jones, played by Buffy's Emma Caulfield Ford, who is peeved at Wanda in the second episode for reasons still unknown. Who are Phil and Dottie Jones? Well, in the comics, Phil Jones is the meek husband of Arcana Jones, a spellcasting member of the Squadron Supreme, which is a Justice League-like super team from Earth 712 who has fought both against and alongside the Avengers depending on the era of comics you're reading. With WandaVision directly tying in with next year's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, it would make sense that sorceresses from other universes might show up in WandaVision. This makes me wonder who the rest of the gals in the neighborhood club really are. Are all of them witches and sorceresses as well? The foreign credits also list Monica Rambeau and Agent Wu, who we've seen in Ant-Man played by Randall Park. Wu might be actually the guy calling for Wanda from the radio. And Marvel already leaked that Teyana Paris, who plays another confused resident of Westview named Geraldine in episode 2, is actually a grown-up version of the little girl from Captain Marvel who grows up to be the much cooler version of Captain Marvel than Brie Larson ever could be. Paris is confirmed for the role in Captain Marvel 2 already and looks to be making her debut in this series. But the real mystery is what of the sword emblem on the red and yellow helicopter that Wanda finds in her front yard's bushes. At first I thought it was an upside-down cross, representative of Marvel's very own devil, Mephisto, and an important arch foe in Wanda's life, Master Pandemonium. If you know that story, you know how horrific the series might go if it follows John Byrne's tale. Now that I saw the sword logo on the back of the beekeeper's costume, I don't know if it isn't just the AIM symbol, possibly representing the Sword of Damocles, which has various ties to older Marvel Comics lore. Kang the Conqueror is scheduled to be the bad guy in the next Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania movie, and he used to have a spaceship called the Sword of Damocles. Then there's the S.H.I.E.L.D. offshoot called SWORD, which works from a space station high above Earth and is run by the green-haired Abigail Brand. But that sword seems to be linked more to the X-Men than the Avengers. Then again, Wanda's a mutant, so who knows? The logo sure looks an awful lot like the one on the helicopter in the back of the beekeeper's uniform. Finally, the Damocles Foundation were a team of deviants, the evil version of the Eternals, yet another group of baddies set to be in the upcoming Eternals movie. The more I think of it, the more I feel they might try to tie this successful series into the Eternals film because I fear that movie is going to need all the help it can get. It could be none of these theories, or maybe it's all of them in one form or another. I've no solid answers, just guesses, educated from reading too many comic books to count. I must admit I'm a huge fan of the MCU. Every time after watching one of the films, I'm usually in some kind of euphoria, just buzzed at seeing the comics I read as a kid come to life. Still, with WandaVision, they're telling a much more nuanced, textured, and deeper story that any movie could do. I really think this format is going to be fantastic for the entire MCU and elevate it to a level of storytelling sophistication I could have never dreamed of. So yeah, there are elements of horror all around WandaVision, and knowing the comics, it's possible this series is going to get a whole lot more horrifying in future episodes. I can't wait to see these episodes, and I think I might cover each installment as they drop. As is, WandaVision is guiding the MCU to brand new levels of sophisticated storytelling, and I'm dying to see where this series goes next. That'll be it for today. Please chime in down below in the comments and let me know how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. So guys, you know how YouTube works. I'd love to be able to dedicate more time to this channel. I'm not monetized yet, so if you want to help me out, remember to hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below. Want some spooky comics to read? I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look out for. Both Grave Trancers and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, can be found in only the finest of comic book shops. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on my website, mlmillerwrites.com. If you really want to show your support, I also have a Patreon page at mlmiller. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're